Hi, this is Stephen with a short video on calculating margin and end price. What is margin? Margin is the portion of the retail selling price that is margin for the retailer. In other words, it's 100 times the price minus cost divided by the price. And that percentage in this case is if they sell it for $9.99 but they're buying it for $4.10, that's $5.89 margin per unit. So you divide that, multiply that by 100, divide it by the price they're selling it at, $9.99, you end up with a 59% margin. You should always try to calculate margin in advance as a marketing supplier to any of these channels. Why is that? You should know what the end price is. So knowing what channel margins are allows you to calculate end price or at least estimate end price in advance. And why do you need to know that? So you can do consumer research at the correct, realistic consumer price, the retail price, correct? Right? You can also do more effective competitive analysis. How will we be priced versus competitor X? You can use this to calculate the dollar market potential, do some profit analyses, do some what if scenarios, and perhaps, depending on what you find, it may influence your decision to pursue a different channel of distribution than you had originally intended. Here is your end price calculator. End price equals the starting price divided by 1 minus the reseller's margin. Not as complicated as you might think. So, let's just say that you've finished all your R&D and accounting work and you think you can sell it to a wholesaler at $1.05 a unit. And you're trying to figure out what retail price it'll be sold at. Now, you might turn around and just guess at $1.99, but why would you guess? You've got an opportunity and an obligation to do some homework here. So, knowing the formula, you would look into what the wholesaler's margin is likely to be. So remember the formula, end price is starting price divided by 1 minus the reseller's margin. In this case, you're selling to a wholesaler at $1.05 and they have a margin of 30%. In other words, $1.05 divided by the $1 minus 0.30 leaves you with $1.50. In other words, this becomes the price at which the wholesaler is selling your originally $1.05 item. Now let's think about that. If the wholesaler is selling it for $1.50, then, how much margin does the retailer make? Now they are going to mark it up by just say your research says and your networking says they'll mark it up by 50%. In other words, their margin is 50%. Well, your starting price here is going to be $1.50. Take 1 minus the retailer's margin, or 50%, and you end up with $1.50 divided by 0.5, or $3 per unit. Oops. Yeah, oopsie. $3 per unit. I didn't do my consumer research at $3 per unit. I was kind of hoping they'd sell it at $1.99. Well, why would you hope or guess? You have now used the math skills and the understanding of channel margins to calculate the price. So you know the retail price is likely to be in or around $2.99, and you could now perhaps have an obligation to do your consumer research about intent to purchase all over again at a altogether new price, or perhaps you change the go-to-market path that you will take. In this case, if I really wanted $1.99 and I found that in the consumer research that was what was key to getting enough trial, I could either make a smaller sized version or cost optimize the formula or perhaps find an altogether different path to market. But let's be honest, there's a reason why wholesalers exist. They really know their channels and they have great relationships with them. Do you? So you could sell to different retails in channels where margins are different, like warehouse clubs. But is your product suited to a warehouse club? And remember, a warehouse club has a no service, bare bones environment in which people shop. Or do you sell online, which sounds so easy, and yet the world doesn't beat a path to your website unless you're doing some serious outreach, SEO, etc. You could reduce your delivery costs and limit your geography, or sell direct to the retailer, become a private label supplier, or maybe license out the idea. It's promising, but not under the market model you've got. Thank you so much. I hope this has helped you understand margin and end price. If you have questions, leave them.